Yeah, and I love how the song is gaining energy, his journey is gaining energy. Because the music from So Ken, it feels ritualistic. This beautiful choir is swelling and the horns are swelling, and she walks up with this untarnished flower petals. Okay? And if you notice, it becomes the percussion of the song as he's hammering. We call that diegetic sound because it's sound that's happening in the world of the characters, right? And we're also hearing it as the sort of soundtrack. This beautiful, beautiful shallow depth of field composition, again, of him being surrounded. It has this feeling of him leaving behind a lot of stuff. And that could, I think, tie into his character as well, like leaving behind perhaps maybe his hatred. Let's see what happens in the story. We did a shoot for Diablo and Fallout, and we used some really cool techniques with a fog machine and floodlights. They're doing something exactly similar here. Yes. Fate will fall, but Aaliyah will not fall. Welcome if you're new. My name is Philip. I'm a filmmaker and actor. Today, we're going to be watching and reacting to Final Fantasy XVI live action trailer and analyzing the cinematic language. This is a dream come true. I love Final Fantasy. I love making films. I was actually had the huge honor of being a VIP guest with my girlfriend Aaliyah at the Final Fantasy XVI premiere event. It went so well and it was so much fun to see everybody there. We get to meet so many of our content creator friends that we've known online for so long. And it was just a lovely experience all around. If you're new, make sure to check out my other analysis, gameplay, and cinematics of Final Fantasy. And if you want to see some of my film work, check out my new film, Trial of the Four Masters, or my other popular films over on my main channel. I was actually playing Final Fantasy XVI early at the event when they premiered this live action trailer, so I didn't really get to look at it in extreme detail, but I'm excited to do that today. Let me know in the comments as we look at this video, have you played the Final Fantasy XVI demo and what do you think of it? All right guys, let's talk about it. People have been talking about this demo so much. Ooh, very nice. This actually mimics one of the earlier trailer shots. Great lighting here, great environments. Amazing set design. Burning picture of the family. Joshua, I love the fire theme right away. Is great. There's this cool, dark feeling to it. But we have the flames. That's sort of a theme, like a color theme in this. I love this. Let's look at this shot again here. Yeah, this is a great shot of Clive kind of having to walk his own path, and I think that's going to be a theme throughout this trailer. Walk his own path against everybody else. See, they're all moving that way. Silhouette moving towards us. We have this first sort of, ooh, nice shot there. We have this first sort of introduction of the idea that he is kind of hearing this music all around him, no matter where he goes. And to me, it's going to be the kind of the call of his adventure that he has to go on, the call of his fate. I think it's really cool. And it's like the person playing is also just looking at him. It's almost like it's like an immortal god or something. Like, you know, like you would hear about in Greek mythology, and it's kind of like, I'm watching you as you can't escape your fate. And I think that's fantastic. And just look at the set design. I love how it has, and the coloration here is really cool. I love how it has this sort of like ashen feel. Again, the flames being sort of like the underlying theme of this. You can feel that coldness, that ash. Almost looks like it's raining ash because of the mist. Really cool. And there you go. There's more music. And what's cool here is the music. Oh, great shot here. Great establishing shot. And look at this, the petals falling. Again, it almost looks like ash. And I think it is supposed to be flower petals here. But that coloration really gives the feeling of something just burned. Awesome. I love these character shots here. It's almost like, you know, they know what he has to do. You know, like look at this guy's interesting expression. It's like they know the journey he has to go on. And it's like they almost feel sorry for him. Oh, beautiful. You can hear Masayoshi Soken's work here. It's just absolutely amazing. We got to see Soken at the event. Such a hilarious, mischievous, energetic personality. What a great guy. And look at this. Beautiful shot here. It's so nice. This is crane drone shot from above. I'm trying to see, is this a symbol right here? Is this some sort of symbol? It's really, really beautiful. This kind of like circle. With the ashes, the petals falling down. And look at this, it's kind of like, it reminds me that, well, actually Aaliyah said this, it reminds me of that one trailer when everybody's yelling his name, Clive, Clive, Clive. It's like he can't escape the sort of pressure. And look at this, he's in like surrounded with a circle of people. And, you know, they all have to kind of like look at him. Look at everybody's eyes are on him. Imagine the pressure. Oh man, it's so cool. Yeah, look at that. These expressions are kind of like, we know who you are, we know what you have to do. They have a smoke in it, there's a lot of flame, and there's the statue of Joshua. Lovely shot there with the lighting on his face. Oh, there's so much to talk about here. We'll try and watch it through a little bit more, and then I'll go back. Yeah, and I love we starting to get the main theme of Final Fantasy 16 here from Soken. And I love how they're combining some CG elements from the game with real environments here. Starting to pick up the pace of the journey, starting to travel. This is so cool because we did this in the build that we played of the game. Me and Leah, he has this spell where you can go, and that flame materializes and follows you around. So it's like they're showing in-game mechanics while giving this just really cool like journey in this really little short film. Yeah, and I love how the song is gaining energy. This journey is gaining energy, and you have this classic shot. I love this. It's very Lord of the Rings. It's very Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings. This beautiful drone shot of him, you know, the silhouette walking across the mountainside. And again, they've built in this sort of CG elements from the game, when in fact this is just a real beautiful shot at sunrise. But it gives the feeling again of showing the kind of different times of day and coloration and stuff, that different environments, that he's traveled a long distance in just a couple minute video. It's really beautiful. And again, without really a lot of speaking or dialogue in this trailer, you're getting a sense of a journey, because we don't need dialogue in this trailer. We've had that in the other ones. I love this. And again, beautiful music from Soken. Yeah. And again, to me, this is, you know, the call of his fate, the call of his journey that he can't escape, as he walks over here onto this stone. And this awesome shot of the Clive. They did really good on the costume for Clive here. Yeah, I would have loved to seen Ben star in this, of course, because, you know, he's awesome and he's Clive in the game. But I love what they did here with the costume. And I love this sort of passing of the flower, this sort of innocent flower. It's pure, it's untarnished. And then, of course, the light is eclipsed. Look at this shot. It's just like, again, fire, ash. I feel like a lot of Clive story is going to be, you know, in the aftermath of fire. What do you do? How do you move forward? And I love this shot for that. Yeah. Great. What an atmosphere, man. And you can just feel that. And they do a great job here with you know, building out a silhouette and image. There's this nice rim lighting. You can really make out the texture of his armor, the shape of his armor. It's awesome, even though it's like such an abstract image. So well done on the lighting team to make something that seems completely dark or completely, you know, smoky and everything, but to still carve out the character with lighting. That's the mark of good choices there. And I love that, yeah. The flower comes out of his hand, just lights up on the ground, man. Which tells us, you know, I think it's symbolic. Oh, look at that color change, man. I think it's symbolic, of course, of like kind of like innocence lost, a lot of what Clive has been through in his life, but also it means the presence of Ifrit. The music starts to swell here. Love it. Oh man. Yes. So well done. Fate will fall, but Aaliyah will not fall. I'm really enjoying this so far. If you guys are new to the community, if you have a minute, really appreciate it if you could subscribe and become a part of the community. Thank you. We'd love to have you. At the show itself, so Ken, look at the shot. It's unbelievably cool. Come on. The scale here. This is what's exciting about this game, is the scale, the story of the characters, of the creatures themselves, the icons. It's very exciting. When me and Aaliyah are at the show, So Ken was talking a lot about like how the differences of writing music for a game versus like film like this, live action film. But he built it up in a way that is, using the scenes to kind of cut out parts of the song and then build them back up and let them swell and everything. I thought it was amazing. So we talked a little bit about this in the beginning, but let's look again. And this is cool too, because this is art from the game on this burning pendant, which I think is a really cool detail. Yeah, and I love this shot. This is actually one of my favorite shots in the trailer. It's just beautiful composition. A very good DP composed this shot because you have this great archway in the door, and look how it just leads down to his head. And then of course we have, this darker lit side, lit by the fire. And it's cool because they have that fire flickering and everything, so it looks very naturalistic. And this is a lot of what they're achieving, what they're going for in the aesthetic with this. It's an aesthetic that was used in Game of Thrones a lot, and a lot of modern fantasy shows now, where they're kind of going for the illusion that there is no lighting. There is just natural stuff happening in the environment that provides light, and it makes for an atmospheric experience with the characters. But you can see they built out the lighting even with this little flicker here to have a really nice sculpting of his face, even though it's meant to look like a fire. I can assure you this was a more controlled environment of lighting. Really well done. And there you go, there's a real fire right there, which adds a little bit more effect to it as well. And we have a real Torgal, which is amazing. But it's a great shot. And look at this, what is this guy's story? It's got this Dark Souls, bonfire feeling. He's just sitting there thinking about his past, ruminating on it before he goes on his journey, with this wolf with him. It's man, what is this guy's story? And that's what I like about this, is they kind of leave that ambiguity to it. But if I was to see this as a trailer for a new TV show, and this was the trailer for it, I'd be super inquisitive about it. It's very intriguing. Oh man, and it makes you wonder, can you imagine if 16 blew up so much that one day they just made a live action show? How cool would that be? Yeah, and then I love that kind of build up. Yeah, that boom, the build up, and then Joshua cuts out. That tension is released, and we are in this sort of marketplace. Again, I said it earlier, but I love the idea of him walking away from people the opposite direction, being pulled to a greater purpose. I love it. And the expressions of the actors and the performers in this are really well done. Again, that's what I get, this sort of immortal. This is some god in disguise, kind of not only monitoring him, but reminding him what he has to do. I think we heard that in one of the trailers too. And this is an amazing example of diegetic sound, where what's happening is this guy's hammering his hammer. Okay, and if you notice, it becomes the percussion of the song as he's hammering. We call that diegetic sound because it's sound that's happening in the world of the characters, right? And we're also hearing it, but we're also hearing it as the sort of soundtrack. Even though Clive is hearing this music, right? Then the music starts to swell though, and it's wait, there's not a full orchestra in this marketplace, right? So it's film sound, but they're using this cool blend of giant diegetic sound and post-production recorded sound. And it's so cool that he keeps kind of experiencing new members of this ensemble, but they all kind of get added to the song as he goes on his journey. It's such a cool concept. Look at the detail on the sword too. Leo would love this from a cosplay standpoint. It's beautifully created prop, and I love the costumes too. Yeah, I love the lighting in this scene too, that ashen feeling, like I said, it's just like, ooh, it's cold. Very nicely lit shot here. It almost looks like a sunrise. It's a nice lighting on his face there in his profile. Oh man, like look at the costume work they put into this. It's really well done. Great casting for all this, like great variety of people, like come on. And this is the expression that got me. When he hears that song, it's almost like he doesn't want to hear it. He's walking past all these people, you know, with the people with the strings, the violin. What happens is he eventually gets to this place where he's kind of surrounded. Like he can't escape it. And he's like encircled by these people. And it's like almost narratively where he says, I gotta go on my journey now. And then, you know, he takes off his hood, like he can't hide. Can't hide from his fate anymore. Music's swelling. There's this shot of almost like acceptance, you know? I really wonder where this was filmed. I heard rumors about Spain, which I would believe. I love this, that nod that guy gives, like, you know what you have to do. It's almost like they're all looking to him too. It's like you have to accept your fate. I love that. Oh, gives you chills, man. This guy too, like the expressions here, so good. The casting on this is amazing. Like shout out to whoever did the casting. And yeah, there it is, that look of, he closes his eyes. He doesn't want to, but he has to, you know? I'm thinking back about what happened. And look at that, there it is, the Joshua statue. So it's like, man, I almost wonder if this is supposed to be a Rosaria. Love these little, you know, like sculpting is the word I like to use for lighting here. Just this beautiful sculpting on the side of his face with that kind of sunrise light. But then here we have this nice diffused lighting coming from another source, reflected off of the environment. Yeah. And it's cool with, you know, having the petals, the ashen look of the petals falling down here. Just makes for such an interesting image. This beautiful, beautiful shallow depth of field. You have the petals in the background, and this composition again of him being surrounded, like he can't escape, he's trapped. Ah, beautiful shots. It's so clever to have the song build up like that. Yeah, this is it. This is that other kind of like Lord of the Rings shot. Just that sweeping around feeling. You know, it gives a sense of where he's going, how far he's gone, and you can see behind him. That's one of my favorites, as far as that kind of diegetic sound like we talked about. Like, what is this instrument? It's amazing. But I love it that they're always looking at him. We're all just, it's cool, man. That's a great shot, too. This is such a cool silhouette. And again, talk about the composition. We have the cliff face coming down and the cliff face on this side coming down. And you have the blue water and the blue sky, so it just gives this like striking image right in the middle of the frame. Very well composed. And look at that shot, right? Like this fire-lit boat ride. So great. That's gotta be one of my favorite shots right there too. Look at this. And it has this marching feel right when the drums come in like that. Look at that. But what's cool to me is also he has this feeling of him leaving behind a lot of stuff. And that could, I think, tie into his character as well, like leaving behind perhaps maybe his hatred. Let's see what happens in the story. Yeah, and that's so cool again because to have a game mechanic, boom, pop up in the trailer is so cool, like I said before. They did a really good job here, probably using like a fog machine to bring about this awesome atmosphere in the woods here. But with the flames and the fire, we did a shoot, actually did the shoot with Aaliyah, a couple of shoots at night for Diablo and Fallout, and we used some really cool techniques with a fog machine and floodlights. They're doing something exactly similar here, having done that. It's a really, really fun set to build, and you can tell they really went all out here. The cool thing is we did actually have a bit of live flame pyro stuff in our Fallout set. I love these two. Just hammering on the drums, expressionless. It's like so cool. That's a great shot too, yeah. The expression is almost like, you know, he's looking at them. That was cool because that was an FPS shot. That was his perspective. but it just keeps marching out. I love this lighting. Again, they've actually cranked up, which I love to see, this kind of blue feeling for nighttime, which is, it's not used as commonly anymore in film. It used to be kind of like a staple of Hollywood. Think back to like Helm's Deep and Lord of the Rings, just blue light of the moon, which is so cool looking. They've done it a little bit here, and it's probably just from the color grading, honestly. There's that little bit of a blue hue and just bisecting his face with the flames on this side. Beautiful image. Beautiful image. And that's gotta be one of my favorite shots. I've recently become kind of like drone obsessed as far as operation and filming, and we got some really great drone shots in Iceland for a short film that's coming up from me. You'll see that probably within a few months, depending on how quick I can get around to finishing up. But it's just so fun to get shots like this, and to be able to get images that are, you know, a few years ago could only be done by helicopters. Like, this is a glorious shot. Again, to get everybody out there and film at sunrise is just great. Because the music from Soken, it feels ritualistic. This beautiful choir is swelling and the horns are swelling, and she walks up with this untarnished flower petals. And he accepts it, and that really is one of the most beautiful shots in between that side of it and this. Glorious shot with the sunrise coming up. I mean, they timed this very well. And he accepts it, again, almost reluctantly. That's what I like about it. And then it's, you know, what's going on here? Right as the music swells, and then into silence. Masterful work by Soken there to cut that off right there. The contrast is extreme in the lighting, in the sound, just silence. And then the absence of all that beautiful image that was full of people, that was full of, you know, variations in lighting, shadows, and color, is now just bereft. Caught up. Nice reaction there. They did good. Like, how do you react to, you know, the 100-foot fruit? It's an awesome image. Look at the eyes. Right in the middle of the eyes, and the sword silhouette. Like, it looks like it's in a volcano. I mean, look at that. It could be, you know, live action right there. Let's get it. Let's get the TV series. I have nothing but good things to say about it. I want to learn more from watching that panel they had with Soken and Alex, and talking about how the comparison of writing for film versus game. But I think it's very well done. If anyone is watching this who worked on this, directed it, fantastic work. Let me know in the comments if you can, if you're allowed to. Some of those details, I'd love to hear about it, just as a fellow filmmaker. But I'm very impressed with everything. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and we will talk to you soon and be continuing our coverage here.